excited, just by round of applause, are you to be back in person again? Oh my God, I know. If this gives you a spark of joy here, this I think is my 8th event already this year, and which is great, right? That means it's a positive upswing and we're only seeing more and more of them. So it's wonderful that we all get to be together again, having cocktails, wearing real pants and clothes again. The topic that I'm gonna talk with you about is meant to do a few things. First of all, it's meant to inspire you, which it will. It's meant to provoke you and make you feel slightly uncomfortable, which I really hope it does. And it's supposed to get you energized because of the practicality of it. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about why simplicity is such a hot topic. It's the #1 thing I get asked to talk about because, obviously, we need more of it. I mean, how many of you, just by show of hands, experience some type of complexity at work on a daily basis? Yeah, right. You do have a lot of complexity. It is probably a big part of your culture. I don't doubt it for a second. But here's the great news. There are lots of simple things you can do to start making it a habit. So what I want to talk to you about is, first of all, how complexity happens. And it does not happen how you think it does. Then I want to tell you about how other people are using simplicity as a real strategic advantage. And I don't mean just in terms of saving money and time. I mean in terms of retaining people and doing meaningful work. And then I'm going to give you a bunch of practical things you can do to get it started for you, frankly, personally. Not for the company, not for the team, but also for you personally. And I'm going to ask you to commit to doing only one of the things that I teach you when you leave here today. So let's dive in and let's talk a little bit about that complexity that you experience. Right? All of you raised your hand and some of you raised 2 or 3, okay? So if you feel like you experience complexity every day, it's because you do. It's real. And here's some statistics for those that like numbers, is that complexity is indeed overwhelming us. These are statistics that were purposely, I'm showing you these, before COVID. Right? This is a study that was done by Deloitte, and they asked people up to VP level to describe their daily work. 75% of them described it as complex or very complex. So if you're feeling that way, it is that way. But the bigger thing about that isn't just that it's a suck on expenses. The issue really is this. The warning sign for everyone is that complexity is destroying your company. Right? It holds you back from doing the things that you were hired to do in the first place. If you're just a company of, let's say, 10,000 people, now most people work, it's a little more than 2,000 hours a year. You probably work much more than that, to be quite honest. That's 20 million hours. 10,000 people, 2,000, et cetera, 20 million hours of work. If you got back just 5% of that, that is 1,000,000 hours. 1,000,000 hours for valuable things. Wouldn't that be worth it? 5%. Let's do that. So here's what I want to do is I want to talk to you about what's the problem. For many of you, the issue with simplicity is speed. It's slowing you down. It's holding you back from doing more valuable work. And what happens is, it's not that you're Samsung and you're complex, is that you're Samsung and you can't operate like these guys. Right? These are billion-dollar businesses, most of them now. Netflix isn't, less than 20 years old, that use simplicity and focus to get ahead and completely transform their entire industries. So here we go. We're going to do a quick exercise. Ready? And it's hard, so I want you to pay attention. You ready? I want you to pat your head, rub your stomach, and click your heels. God, people are really serious right now. You can do it, you guys. Okay, let's stop. Pat your head. Good job. How many people, just show of hands, were able to do all 3 of those at once? All right, good. But that's not what I said to do. I just said pat your head, rub your stomach, click your heels. What did you all do with a lot of concentration? Yeah, you did all 3 at once. When you did all 3 at once, it's because you're programmed to multitask. And that's fine. I multitask all the time, but I only multitask on relatively simple things. Right? I do, when I'm on a Zoom call, check my email, right? Those are easy things, but the more hard and strategic and focused you need to be while you're multitasking, there's diminishing returns. The science tells us that. We shouldn't do it. The second thing is we, especially as leaders, and especially as busy people here in the audience, we like to elevate everything to the same level of urgency, right? Every email, every decision, every meeting, everything that we have to do, everything is urgent when it's not. The last thing is that you have less time for thinking. And this is really, especially for some of the marketing people, Thinking has become a daring act in a lot of companies. We just don't have time for it. We say we want time for it, but frankly, we don't value it. Right? How many people have to sneak thinking time onto their calendar? Why? Why do we think it's like such a bad thing that we have to sneak it onto our calendar? Like, I'm just gonna block out this time and I'm not gonna tell anybody what it is so I can think. Why is that a bad thing? And it's interesting when I say thinking has become a daring act, because when you think about it, if you saw somebody sitting in their office just staring out the window, right? Remember those times when we'd go in and you might like knock on their door and see them, just staring out the window, and you'd say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bother you. Sorry about that. And they might look back at you and go, no, 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 it's okay. I was just thinking. I mean, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? Get back to work, right? What does he do? I wish I could just sit there and stare out the window all day. Yeah, you do wish you could have time to stare out the window. Thinking has become a daring act. For a lot of us right now, we are not having time to think. And it's not even that we're getting a lot done. We are executing our calendars. And that is very different than getting the meaningful work done. People tend to do their best thinking when they're alone. I mean, I don't know, I don't judge your showers, but most people are doing their best thinking alone. Sorry, take that off the camera. The second thing is they do it when it's quiet. Right? Again, I don't know how rowdy your showers are, but most people are quiet. Like if you're walking in the woods. For me, by the way, it used to be on airplanes when I did my best thinking. The other thing you notice, what people don't say, is they don't say at work. Very rarely, and I'm sure if I probe in here, there'll be a few of them, but what most people say is they're outdoors, they're in nature, it's quiet, they're alone. And what you have to think about is, first of all, people think very differently. And we all think in different ways, so carving out the time for the way you work and think best is important. And the second thing is, this is really why a lot of meetings and brainstorms don't work, because you haven't had time to think. We come up with our best ideas when we are alone, but we build our best ideas when we're together.